Injuries have been a constant obstacle for the Minnesota Vikings this season, directly influencing the team's performance at various times. However, this scenario has begun to change in recent weeks. The list of injured players, which previously worried coach Kevin O'Connell and the entire coaching staff, has been considerably reduced, giving the team a sense of stability and confidence. The return of running back Aaron Jones has been a game-changer. His presence has reignited the vigor of the running game, offering pace, explosiveness, and consistency to offensive drives. Jones has returned showing the same instinct and field vision that made him one of the league's top names at his position, capable of turning simple plays into decisive advances. In addition, the two offensive tackles, who previously faced physical problems, are finally back in top form. This recovery has brought security to quarterback J.J. McCarthy, who now has more solid protection in the pocket, allowing him to execute plays with more calm and confidence. With more time to read opposing defenses, McCarthy has been demonstrating increasing maturity and precision, signaling a clear evolution in his performance. On defense, Andrew Van Ginkel and Blake Cashman have been authentic pillars. The duo stood out for their energy and aggressiveness, constantly pressuring rival offenses and creating valuable opportunities for the Vikings' defense. Their ability to anticipate plays and disrupt the opponent's rhythm has proven to be one of the team's strengths in this phase. With the pieces returning to their place and the key players regaining their ideal rhythm, the Minnesota Vikings seem more prepared than ever to face the upcoming challenges of the season. The team is rediscovering its identity and showing that, even after a turbulent period of injuries, it still possesses all the necessary tools to compete at a high level. The only truly significant absence from last Sunday's starting lineup was that of center Ryan Kelly, a key piece in the Vikings' offensive line. The veteran has remained out of action since suffering his second concussion of the season, back in Week 4, an episode that raised concerns within the coaching staff and among his teammates. Since then, Minnesota has adopted a cautious approach, prioritizing the player's recovery before allowing his return to the field. Kelly, recognized for his leadership and experience, is a big name in the locker room and one of the pillars of quarterback protection. His absence was felt, especially in controlling the game in the trenches, where his intelligence and ability to read opposing defenses make a huge difference. Even so, the team managed to adjust well with temporary replacements, showing depth in the roster and good adaptation to adversity. The precaution taken by the team is understandable, considering the athlete's history of concussions. The Minnesota Vikings know that forcing an early return could jeopardize not only the season, but also Kelly's long-term health. Therefore, the plan has been to follow each step of the medical protocol precisely, without rushing, and with total focus on the player's safety. Despite this conservative approach, there are optimistic signs in the air. Sources close to the team indicate that Kelly's period of inactivity may be coming to an end. He has been participating in light training activities and demonstrating good progress in his recovery. If he continues at this pace, it is possible that the center will rejoin the active roster in the coming weeks, reinforcing the offensive line precisely when Minnesota most needs stability and strength in the heart of the offense. Kelly's return, when it happens, will represent not only a technical gain, but also an emotional boost for the group. His presence on the field symbolizes the resilience and determination of a team that refuses to give in to adversity and continues to fight, step by step, for its place among the powerhouses of the season. On Monday, a day after the tough loss to the Baltimore Ravens, a game marked by communication failures and moments of disorganization on the field, Coach Kevin O'Connell met with the press to clarify some points and offer updates on the situation of his players. Among the topics addressed, the name of Ryan Kelly quickly gained prominence, as the experienced center continues to be one of the most missed absences on the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. O'Connell, always careful in his statements, briefly commented on the progress of the veteran, who has already been selected 4 times for the Pro Bowl, highlighting that the team remains attentive to his recovery process. The coach stressed that, although there is still no exact date for Kelly's return to the field, the current scenario is quite encouraging. According to him, the athlete is progressing well in his rehabilitation and everything indicates that the moment to reopen his training window is getting closer. Ryan Kelly is progressing as expected. We're still figuring out exactly when that will happen, but unless something changes, we can predict that his transfer window will open soon, O'Connell stated, demonstrating optimism and confidence in the return of his most experienced defensive lineman. The coach's words were received as a positive sign within the locker room and also among the fans, who understand Kelly's importance not only technically, but also as a leader on the field. His presence is seen as a factor that can restore balance to the offense, improve communication between the linemen, and strengthen the protection of J.J. McCarthy, aspects that proved fragile in the loss to Baltimore. With Kelly's possible return on the horizon, the Minnesota Vikings are beginning to envision a more stable future for the offensive unit. O'Connell made it clear that the goal is to regain consistency and eliminate the communication errors that were costly in the last game. The expectation is that, with the roster becoming healthier, the team will be able to transform the lessons from the last few games into fuel for a decisive run in the final stretch of the season. Ryan Kelly has already missed 5 consecutive games this season, easily exceeding the minimum 4-game period required by the injured reserve protocol. This prolonged absence has reinforced the Minnesota Vikings' concern for the athlete's health, but it has also maintained the growing expectation of his return among teammates and fans. Now, the team is very close to taking the next decisive step in his recovery: the reopening of the so-called 21-day window for returning to training. When this window is officially opened, Kelly will finally be able to resume activities with the rest of the squad, participating in training sessions supervised by the medical team and coaches. This 3-week period is crucial to assess, in practice, whether the player is fully ready to return to the intensity of NFL games. During this time, the Vikings will have the opportunity to observe his physical performance, his response to contact, and, most importantly, whether there is any sign of recurrence of concussion symptoms.